Okay,
$100 cash or a Bitcoin.
23.
Okay, what would you rather take? $100 cash or a Bitcoin?
I gotta say $100 cash.
$100 cash every single time.
Why?
Bitcoin is a little fake to me, not gonna lie.
I first of all don't know what Bitcoin is. Second of all, it seems like a scam. Like
But it's at $40,000.
No, straight
I don't give a shit. $100
Hey,
cash.
$40,000? What is that? Dollars. What are we getting? We're getting straight dollars.
Like $100 cash in my hand feels way more tangible and way more real than like Bitcoin. Like I don't even know what Bitcoin is. Like I don't.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Are you enjoying the roller coaster ride that is cryptocurrency? Well, Bitcoin was actually up around 5% yesterday, just this morning, sitting above 40,000. Currently, we are now sitting below it, kind of where this meme is coming from, right? We just keep knocking on that door of 40K. In fact, I think Bitcoin has broken through the 40K level like 11 times or something like that since we initially broke out in 2020. But that being said, on the bright side, Dogecoin is up, guys. Dogecoin is up, obviously, on the Elon Musk news. But having a look right here, we are, in fact, sitting at some very critical support. Depending on how you draw your lines, you might even say we're sitting below that critical level, right? However, the bulls are still attempting to keep the price afloat. But what I do want to talk about today is there was not one, but two instances in which we saw an extremely similar fractal in the Bitcoin price in 2015 and in 2019 as well. And in both of those scenarios, it signaled a massive reversal for the Bitcoin price, which in this case would mean to the upside. Now, can we actually get that push this time around based on all the news that's been coming out? A lot of fear in the markets. We're going to talk about that. Of course, I'm going to go over my short-term price levels for Bitcoin. There is one indicator specifically that we do need to pay attention to. And also, we have a major victory, a win, if you will, for U.S. citizen Bitcoin holders. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, consider it. And without further ado, let's get directly into this chart. So guys, like I said, I was looking for more of volume to sort of show us that this actually was the bottom. We really didn't get it. I mean, you could see the volume way up here on this move right here, on this move right here for the reversal, and look at these volumes down here. Although yesterday's move, when we did fall down to around 38,000, that was a little bit better. It was a little bit better, but it really wasn't as much as I would have liked to have seen. And the other thing I just want to point out super quick is, compared to these previous scenarios, with the exception of sort of this wick right here, we were seeing higher lows, except now what we're actually seeing is lower lows, and you can even argue lower highs, right? So we are actually falling to the downside. Now, you could also say, potentially if we just draw this this is just a really quick line for you guys, maybe we're forming some kind of a falling wedge, which is actually a bullish pattern, right? You generally do tend to break to the upside. I have still marked out my $44,600 level. I sound like a broken record. I've been mentioning this now for multiple weeks on the channel, but I still think that it is possible to get to that level. But getting back to, again, the joke of this 40K Bitcoin, if you really just have a look right here, okay? This red line represents every single time Bitcoin has come near or around the $40,000 level. It's actually more around $40,600, but look at all these times that we've actually danced with it right here. We actually had a test of it right here, broke through, multiple tests here, multiple tests here, multiple tests here. We actually wicked down exactly to the line on this crazy capitulation wick that we had. All of this time, lots of fake outs above these levels. You can see right here, resistance, and currently, right now, guys, we are sitting below it, and it is acting as resistance again. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, it means we're actually back in no man's land. We're not really in the super bearish territory. We're not really in the super bullish territory. So the levels, if you're curious, what I'm looking at, whether or not, to be concerned about a further downtrend or continuation to the upside, I say breaking out of this blue zone here, getting out of this area would be very good so we can have a clear direction on what Bitcoin is doing in the short term. To break out to the upside, Bitcoin needs to get above 42,900 we can even round that to around 43,000. So if you see Bitcoin trading at around 43,000, that is probably bullish for Bitcoin. And if we fall below this lower level, around 38,500, then that is potentially signaling that we are looking for the downtrend. Right now, we are stuck in the middle of nowhere, but there is something I want to point out. So T-Analyst pointed out that Bitcoin is on the same bullish wick candle structure as in the 2015 reversal. This is the 2-day. And you can see right here, we had an incredibly similar pattern forming right here. And this is essentially what we're doing today. And if we were to follow that fractal, then ultimately Bitcoin would be looking for a move to the upside. Now, obviously, it's a little bit of a different scenario, 2015 versus today, right? We have inflation absolutely skyrocketing, the Fed trying to taper, trying to raise interest rates, or at least that's what they say they're going to be doing, right? But also another fractal that Matthew Hyland pointed out was the 2018 into 2019, which actually had this sort of asymmetrical triangle. And once it retested the resistance as support, it wasn't an immediate blast off. I just want to point that out, but it did do a slow grind upwards for about the next month before having the breakout. And if we have a look at what we're doing right now, you can argue that we are sort of having a very similar scenario, right? Where we have this downwards, we have this downwards resistance, we have this upward support right here. And yeah, I mean, if you look at it right here, depending on obviously where you draw these lines, very, subjective depending on where you put them. But yeah, ultimately, resistance, right all through here. And then, yeah, look, we are having support. We also have this upward sloping support as well. So Bitcoin seems to be stopping right at this level right here, right now. The only thing that I want to point out, and I really do hate saying bearish things because I'm not a bear on the channel. And I know that every time I make a video where I talk about bearish scenarios, I notice that people lose interest. They don't want to hear it. They only want to hear about moonshots and Lambos and 100Xs. I get it, guys. I want Bitcoin to go to the moon too. It is going to the moon. We're just taking some detours along the way, right? But the thing that I have to point out is if you actually look at what the S&P did, or you could look at the NASDAQ, they basically all trade the same. For the most part, we had yesterday, what happened, right? We opened here at around, 42.54. We came all the way down here, fake out to 42.03, and then bounced back up and closed with a green candle. Now today, we're having, a red candle. So we had a fake out. It pushed up. Bitcoin was sitting down at 38, pushed back up. What am I trying to say? It's still unfortunately following traditional stocks. So I wouldn't rule out paying attention to what's going on with the traditional stocks. But what you are noticing here is that if we just have this basic trend line that we drew up here and we zoom in, you can see that Bitcoin only just briefly got above it. It was actually acting as resistance. And really what you had was a bit of a fake out breakout. And now it is starting to pull back down again, which is why, once again, I'm going to keep my levels. I'm not going to change them. I'm not going to flip flop every day, bullish, bearish, all that stuff. I still maintain that we need to see more volume coming in right here, the same way that we did on this wick, the same way that we did on this wick. And I want the same thing down here. And that level is down at around $36,600 if we can get the volume. If Bitcoin does come down and retest that levels, personally, I would be looking to put in a long. So if you are interested in learning how to trade, make sure that you check out the tutorial popping up above. Guys, there's $16,000 in bonuses below. And I know that it has sucked trading a lot for US citizens. As you guys know, I am looking into different exchanges. There's actually another one that I found that could be even better than the one that we just found recently. So I will definitely keep that in mind, and I'm going to look at it a little bit more. And if I like it, guys, I'll let you know. But ultimately, if you guys are interested in trading currently on Bybit or Femex, you can check that out below. But the one thing that I wanted to point out is we are still, believe it or not, even with what just happened, even though this is a bit of a doji, it's a little bit scary right down here on support, we are still in this structure. So whether you guys look at it as, some people might say it's a giant rising wedge. Okay, that might be a little bit bearish depending on how you look at it. But if you consider this right here and this right here to be a little bit of sort of bull traps, then actually we are in fact still forming an ascending triangle. And I don't have the chart pulled up, but if you watch Benjamin Cohen, he actually talked about comparing it to the money supply, and they say that we need to retest the previous all-time high, which would be around $20,000. But if you actually base it on the money supply, then technically right here, we already had that retest. So everything that everybody's waiting for, we already had, right? So I just wanted to kind of throw that out. Also, Will Clemente pointed out something very, very important. So if we compare the hodler implied price versus the short-term holder cost basis, which is, I don't know the exact definition of it, but it's essentially, the average price. It might be over the past year. Like I said, I don't really know 100%, but it is basically like the short-term average price that most people bought Bitcoin at, which currently, according to this, is 47,000. I know someone's going to correct me in the comments. I just can't remember the time frame. Doesn't really matter. Look at the metric, and essentially you could see that every time you get sort of this blue line, right, crossing above the green line, which means that now the short-term holders are in profit, you tend to see massive rallies to the upside. And also, just to point out, in times where we've seen the cross, you've also seen it go to the downside. So we haven't actually had a cross to the downside yet. We did have a cross to the upside right back here. This was, I don't know, somewhere between July and January. I don't know exactly what day it was. But essentially, right now, they're sort of just moving in tandem, right? They're kind of just going together, parallel. So once again, just neutral, very neutral, great opportunity to accumulate, but ultimately just very neutral, guys. But one chart that's getting very, very serious right now is the DXY. We are coming very, very close to this resistance that we have started all the way back in January of 2017. And you could see every single time that we have touched this level right here, we have absolutely gotten rejected. Is the dollar going to actually break out to the upside stronger this time? Well, in yesterday's video, I showed you that there was a very severe correlation with Bitcoin to this DXY. And if we actually overlay the charts, you can see right here, I just basically overlaid this on top of this, that this is the yellow right here. You can see that every single time the DXY hit this resistance and started falling to the downside, I might as well just actually get this resistance out of here. Let me just take this out of here because they're on completely different scales. But ultimately, every time we hit that level, you can see right here, look at this, Bitcoin price sitting at around $794, went all the way up to $20,000. The next time, Bitcoin price sitting at around that $3,800 level. And of course, we went all the way up to our all-time high. And currently, we are at that level again. So is it possible that the dollar does get rejected and Bitcoin starts the next leg of the bull run? That's probably one of the most bullish possible scenarios there is, and I am keeping my eye on it. And by the way, guys, if you do want to dabble your toes in trading like stocks, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, crude oil, gold, silver, and things like that, but you don't have, let's say, an account with any of these other, people to trade with, you can literally do it with Bitcoin if you want, guys. You can actually come over here and you can trade all these different things on Prime XBT. Literally everything. You could trade Forex. You could trade up here. They have all different kinds of markets. They have CFDs if you're interested in that. Spain, silver, nat gas, Japan, all these, France. I'm not a super big, traditional stock trader, but, I'll tell you what, guys, if you actually, want to get in on this, it's not as, well, I would like to say it's not as volatile as crypto, but it, lately has been, right? But if you want, you can also trade things. They have Dogecoin, Polkadot, all different things. You could do it in USD or you could do it in Bitcoin. So you can literally just send Bitcoin to the exchange. You don't have to convert it to anything else. And you could just trade all of these different tokens and all of these traditional stocks using Bitcoin as the collateral. It's really interesting. If you guys haven't seen my tutorial, check it out, popping up above. Really, really awesome Prime XBT. I really like what these guys are doing. And there is some big updates coming that I've heard through the grapevine. So I will keep you updated on that. If you guys are interested, they're offering a $7,000 bonus to Crypto Zombie subscribers if you use the link below in the description. Obviously, you help support the channel, but at the same time, you guys also can trade with those bonuses. So big news of the day. This is, in my opinion, a huge win for US Bitcoiners, and that is mutual fund giant Fidelity Investments says that they're on track to allow customers to add Bitcoin to their 401k savings plans. This is massive, guys. The move could potentially be a watershed moment for cryptocurrency adoption in the US, given that Fidelity is the #1 provider of pension plans in the country. The #1 provider. The Boston-based investment giant manages the retirement savings of more than 20 million people, guys. According to Fidelity's Dave Gray, there is a growing demand for Bitcoin among plan sponsors. So they plan to start offering Bitcoin holdings later this year, the 401ks, and they say that they'll charge a fee of 0.9%. The adoption of the new product, however, will depend on the willingness of employees to add Bitcoin to their workers' retirement funds. Now, obviously, Michael Saylor over at MicroStrategy, the business intelligence firm that's known as the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin, has already signed on to the ambitious plan. So this isn't saying that everyone's 401k is necessarily going to have Bitcoin in it, but it is saying that now employers will have that ability to offer it to their clients due to the fact that there has been a lot of high demand for it. So this is quite bullish no matter how you spin it, no matter what Bitcoin price does in the short term. This is absolutely incredible for Bitcoin adoption. This is just paving the way for more future innovation, and it is showing that more people are starting to trust cryptocurrency. In fact, check this survey out from Bitstamp. 8 out of 10 institutional investors believe that crypto will overtake traditional investment vehicles within the decade. The company's Crypto Pulse survey also discovered that 54% of retail investors believe that cryptos will overtake traditional currencies within 10 years as well. The survey results showed that crypto is a long-term game, and we need to be building for the next 50 to 100 million customers. This is according to Bitstamp's CEO, Bobby Zagata. The industry needs to enable the infrastructure that supports the next wave of investors. So this wasn't just a flash in the pan, like small little survey. This survey was 28,000 respondents, 5,000 of them institutional, and 23,000 of them were retail. And this was over 23 different countries. Very broad, somewhat, inclusive survey, I would say. So Sagata went on to say, as people learn more about crypto, they tend to trust it more. This is extremely positive when you think about crypto's long-term potential. Individuals and institutions in emerging economies are more likely to trust crypto, with about 80% of them doing so, compared to about 62% in more developed financial markets, essentially in the West. Regulation remains a barrier, he says, to crypto investing. According to a lot of the respondents, especially in the West, nearly half of the retail and a third of the institutional investors, are still worried about crypto not being fully regulated yet. But Zagata says that certain facts of crypto regulation should be non-negotiable, such as maintaining blockchain's transparency, prioritizing privacy, and remaining independent from third parties. Now, let's talk about what's going on in New York. There was this moment on Twitter last night, if you guys were following, some people were reporting that it was fine, they dropped it, or they voted against it, and then all of a sudden there was like a third party or something that came in and said that they wanted to redo it or something. I don't really know the news. All I know is that according to this, now they're saying they didn't really make a full decision, but a New York bill is in place, essentially on reactivation of fossil fuel power plants for crypto mining, and they are taking this to full assembly. So the new bill essentially may progress to the New York Assembly floor as early as this Thursday, and then the Senate. So supported by environmental lobby groups, the bill is relatively narrow in scope, as it only seeks to place a hold on off-grid Bitcoin mining using fossil fuels. So this is a little bit different than what I was hearing 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it sounded like an overall 3-year crazy ban on Bitcoin mining, and now it sounds like it's just going to be placed on off-grid fossil fuels, dirty energy, things of that nature. Now, stick around. I actually do have a really good counter argument to this, but crypto lobby groups such as the Blockchain Association are concerned that the new bill could force the migration of crypto employees to other states with friendlier environmental scrutiny. Disappointed in the progress of the bill, John Olson, head of the New York State-focused arm of Blockchain Association, said that the industry itself is always working on a new technology to improve emissions, to meet standards, to capture wasted energy that would otherwise not be utilized. So it's a bit of a blow to an industry that is very much looking to be here in New York. And what we were seeing, I think I actually still have the thing here. One second, guys. I always keep these pages that my dad gives me. One of them in here was for the crypto mining in, I don't know where it is. This is the one for Ukraine. But essentially, they were basically finding a way to use this dirty fuel and use it, to mine Bitcoin. But I guess that's not good enough still. So we'll have to see. The ESG movement is quite huge. But I think a very, very important thing to bring up. Sorry, I don't know which. I got like so many newspapers over here. But Check this out. So Bitcoin mining companies are further adopting green energy as the global Bitcoin mining industry increased its sustainable energy mix by approximately 59% year over year. The Bitcoin Mining Council is a group of 44 Bitcoin mining companies claiming to represent 50% of the global Bitcoin network. So the BMC estimates that the global mining industry's sustainable electricity mix for Bitcoin is now at 58.4%. Data for the new report, which was self-reported by the BMC members, shows that they were utilizing electricity with 64.6% sustainable power mix. And you can actually see that right here, okay? So this shows that they are going green, or at least attempting to. The report breaks down the total estimated energy usage by industry, alleging that global Bitcoin mining operations use 247 terawatt hours, which is less than half of what gold mining operations consume and represents about 0.16% when compared to the world's total energy usage. Also, over the past 12 months, electricity consumption by the industry decreased by 25%. And here's the kicker, while the hash rate increased by 23%. So the Bitcoin hash rate has gone up 23%, while the industry has decreased by 25% electrical consumption. So this is actually a twofold increase, or at least half. Don't quote me on the math here. The point is that the network is getting stronger. More miners are turning on their machines, which should theoretically be drawing more electricity off the grid, but it's not. It's actually reduced by 25%. So I honestly still don't understand these arguments. It's just the news, and they're trying to flip it and FUD on Bitcoin and whoever has interest in this, but the facts, the data is showing you that Bitcoin mining is going greener and greener as each day passes, and it's going to get to a point where these guys are no longer going to have an argument when it comes to Bitcoin mining. So, big elephant in the room. We got to get this one out of the way, but not really going to make this breaking news. I'm sure you know by now. Elon Musk will acquire Twitter for $43.4 billion, hence the Dogecoin surge. He aims to launch new features, increase trust by making algorithms open source, defeat spam bots, and authenticate all humans. I don't know what that means officially, like verify humans. How are we going to authenticate that we're humans? I'd love to see how we're going to do that. There are ways we've talked about that could be done, but I am interested in seeing what his proposal is. And finally, guys, just a warning out there. Bored Ape Instagram page was hacked yesterday, and they basically created a fake website. People went there. They clicked on phishing links that were able to get into people's wallets because they used the phishing links, and in total, 4 apes, 6 mutants, and 3 kennels were stolen. So, essentially, what am I trying to tell you guys? Always be careful. Always double check the sources. But in this case, yeah, I don't really know what the website was. I mean, I guess you could have checked if it was the official, the official Bored Ape website. How could anyone have known that it got hacked? They couldn't have. But, always double check. Make sure, what you really should do is just bookmark it. That's your best bet. Bookmark the official website, ledger.com, Bybit.com, wherever it is that you are, so that in case you do get these Coinbase.com, right? I've gotten a few in the mail, in my email from Coinbase, like, you need to enter this information and do this. Now, Coinbase does send out legitimate emails, but a few of them, you could tell, you click on it, it's not the correct link, and it's not from Coinbase support. So please be very careful. That is how a lot of people get hacked, even though they're not really getting hacked. They're clicking on links and they're giving their information away to bad actors, right? So just be very careful out there, guys. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. And, friendly reminder, we do have 9 days left for this giveaway on MEXC Global. We had actually spoke about the Meter Governance Token. This is a project that, and by the way, guys, this is a long-term hold, or at least a midterm hold, right? I'm not looking to flip this instantly, but currently it is sitting at a $71 million market cap. And I do think that this project, in a sense, could sort of do what Matic kind of had done, when we mentioned it. And, although we didn't get in at the exact bottom, you could see every single time it keeps making higher highs and higher lows. And the reason I brought this up to you is because MEXC Global actually has in my opinion, the best amount of volume for the ability to trade this token. If you guys are interested, if I give it a quick refresh, where are we sitting at right now? Basically the same. So yeah, don't buy it because I talked about it, guys, but definitely check that out. Take advantage of that in the links below. There is bonuses and 10% off for life, right? If you want cheap trading fees. But ultimately, like I had drawn originally, you know, I am still anticipating the possibility of breaking down to around this $36,600 level. Doesn't mean that we have to. Right? Doesn't mean that we have to come down here. We could have a strong, quick move, wick with volume or something like that, or maybe we just follow completely in that fractal that I showed you guys before. Maybe we do something like this, like in 2015, or like Matthew Hyland pointed out. Maybe we're off to the races, guys. But either way, be safe out there. And yeah, that's about it for me today. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos in the first place. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And if you want to learn how to trade, check out these videos popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.